YouTube has struck thousands of channels. Creators who had been working for years, channels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, removed within days. And the scariest part is that many of them didn't understand why. I was personally affected by this wave of demonetization in one of my channels, a channel with more than 140,000 subscribers. I wanted to understand more about this new YouTube policy, so I spent weeks analyzing dozens of demonetized channels, talking to creators who lost everything, and I found a precise pattern. Today I'm going to show you what I found. On July 15th, 2025, YouTube revised its monetization guidelines, replacing the category of repetitious content with a wider label: inauthentic content. Enforcement followed immediately, and in stages, channels were demonetized. Renee Ritchie, YouTube's head of creator relations, was straightforward about it. This is not a prohibition on AI. It's a prohibition on content that demonstrates no genuine creative effort. Mass-produced material, template-driven videos, content that is interchangeable with any other channel on the platform. Looking at the channels that were penalized and those that were not, you can see clear pattern. AI-generated content combined with fiction means demonetization. Niches like AI horror story channels, Roblox roleplay, and 2D animations were demonetized, while finance channels, legal commentary, AI tool explainers, and documentary style analysis remain untouched. That's because their content is rooted in real facts, and AI visuals are simply a tool. The problem is that the algorithm isn't precise enough. For example, when AI channels flooded the platform, YouTube ended up hitting real 2D animators too, people who had been working for years. The big channels made the news and got reinstated. The small ones disappeared quietly. That's the reality. Now let's get into the 6 specific triggers that set off the inauthentic content flag. The first is what's called the swap test. Take your last 5 videos, line them up next to your competitors, cover the logos and names, and ask yourself, is there a difference? If the answer is no, you're at risk. Same title, same thumbnail, same opener, same visual structure. YouTube sees it as cloned content, regardless of how much time you put into it. The second trigger is rigid templating. Gemini, Google's algorithm, analyzes everything: pattern, text, frames. If your videos always have the same opener, the same visual sequence, the same script structure, 20 videos out of 20, you get flagged. You need to rotate at least 5 active formats, keeping them distinct from each other in titles, thumbnails, and narrative structure. The third trigger is AI voices. The voice alone won't get you demonetized, but that standard 11 Labs voice used by thousands of other channels, combined with everything else, may be the problem. A solution can be cloning your own voice or a voice actor, or use more expressive versions of the software. It can be anything, but you need to find something that breaks the monotony of the algorithm. The fourth trigger is generic scripts. Those clearly written by ChatGPT with no reworking. YouTube flags them. The difference between a channel that's never been hit and one that's been removed often comes down entirely to this. One has stories that feel written by a real person. The other has identical structures where only the situation changes, but the narrative flow never does. The fifth trigger is about visuals. Identical stock footage, always in the same order and with the same transitions. Firstly, they are just boring. But other than that, it's an automated pattern matching problem that the algorithm can flag. The sixth trigger is the lack of information gain. Google understands whether your video adds something new to the platform or simply repackages what's already there. Before publishing, search on YouTube similar videos and ask yourself if yours adds anything. If the answer is no, wait and improve it. The sad thing is that even in non-fiction channels, there are recurring mistakes like publishing AI scripts without editing them and using the same stock footage. Sometimes chasing volume instead of retention isn't the right way. You need to consider that the algorithm rewards watch time, not upload frequency, and 50 videos with a 30% average view duration are worth less than 10 videos at 65%. With that said, here's what makes sense to do if you're building a channel from scratch. Choose a specific sub-niche, narrow enough to have a precise angle. Write or rewrite your scripts until they sound like someone genuinely wrote them and knows what he's talking about. Of course, you need to add your personal touch and check your analytics. Now, if your channel has already been hit, the appeal process exists and it works, but only if you actually have something worth defending. A useful thing you should do is setting the repetitive videos to private and upload a few genuinely different ones, so that when YouTube looks at your channel, it already sees a change. The appeal consists in recording a video on webcam, 5 minutes max, where you show your workflow, your creative process, your team. Don't admit fault if you haven't done anything wrong. Applying public pressure on social media can also help. The more attention you generate, the more likely you are to get a human review instead of an automated response. The monetization threshold hasn't changed. You just need to understand how these new policies actually work and position yourself on the right side, creating authentic content that truly adds value to the platform.